Hey everyone, welcome back to 5 Minutes Fluentcast. Today's episode is going to be especially interesting because we're talking about a topic that's everywhere right now. Social media, podcasts, YouTube, and even dinner conversations. The carnivore diet. You've probably seen people claiming incredible results, more energy, weight loss, mental clarity, and even healing chronic issues. But at the same time, you've probably also heard concerns about health risks, nutrient deficiencies, and long-term effects. So today, we're not here to promote or attack the carnivore diet. We're here to understand what actually happens inside the body when someone follows it.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I really like this topic because the carnivore diet brings up an important question we should ask about any diet. Just because something works for some people in the short term, does that mean it's healthy or sustainable in the long term? And what does science actually say about removing almost all plant foods from the diet?
So let's start with the basics. The carnivore diet is exactly what it sounds like, a way of eating that focuses almost exclusively on animal-based foods. That usually means meat, fish, eggs, and sometimes dairy, with little to no fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes, or fiber. For the body, this is a dramatic shift. You're moving from a mixed, diverse diet to one that relies heavily on protein and fat, while carbohydrates drop to extremely low levels. That change alone explains many of the short-term effects people report.
In the beginning, many people actually feel better. They report reduced appetite, rapid weight loss, and more stable energy levels throughout the day. This happens because protein and fat are very satiating, and cutting sugar and refined carbs reduces blood sugar spikes. There's also less decision fatigue. When your food choices are extremely limited, eating becomes simple, and that can reduce stress around food.
Exactly. Another reason people feel mental clarity at first is related to blood sugar stability and dopamine regulation. When you remove ultra-processed foods, sugar, and constant snacking, the brain experiences fewer spikes and crashes. That can feel like improved focus and calm. But short-term benefits don't tell the whole story. One of the biggest concerns with the carnivore diet is what happens to the gut. Your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system, thrives on diversity, especially fiber. Fiber doesn't feed you directly, but it feeds your gut bacteria, which in turn support digestion, immunity, and even mood. When fiber is removed almost completely, many beneficial bacteria begin to decrease. This doesn't cause immediate symptoms for everyone, but over time, it can affect digestion, inflammation, and immune balance.
And that's important because gut health isn't just about digestion. It influences mental health, hormone regulation, and even how your body responds to stress. So while some people report digestive relief at first, especially those with food sensitivities, that doesn't necessarily mean the gut is healthier long term. Another key point is nutrients. Animal foods are rich in protein, iron, B12, zinc, and fat-soluble vitamins, which is great. But plant foods provide things that meat alone doesn't, like vitamin C, antioxidants, polyphenols, and certain minerals.
And while the body can adapt in the short term, long-term restriction increases the risk of nutrient gaps. The body is incredibly resilient, but it still needs variety. Health is not just about avoiding carbs or plants. It's about balance, adaptability, and long-term resilience. Another thing that doesn't get talked about enough is hormonal balance. Extremely restrictive diets can increase cortisol, the stress hormone, especially if they're not matched with adequate calories in recovery.
And cortisol doesn't just affect stress, it affects mood, sleep, fat storage, and immune function. Some people thrive temporarily on extreme diets because they feel control and clarity, but over time, the nervous system may start to feel the strain. It's also important to say this: not everyone reacts the same way. Some people experience real symptom relief on the carnivore diet, especially if they were coming from a highly processed diet or had severe food intolerances.
Exactly. That doesn't mean the carnivore diet is the best diet for humans. It often means that removing ultra-processed foods helped, not necessarily that removing plants was the magic solution. So the carnivore diet shows us something important. The body responds well when we reduce sugar, processed foods, and constant eating. But it also reminds us that long-term health depends on diversity, balance, and sustainability.
There's no single diet that works perfectly for everyone. Health is about listening to the body, understanding biology, and avoiding extremes that can create problems later. If you're curious about the carnivore diet, start by asking why. Are you trying to reduce sugar, improve digestion, simplify eating?
You can get many of the benefits people seek, like stable energy and mental clarity, by focusing on whole foods, enough protein, and fewer ultra-processed products without cutting entire food groups. Thanks for listening to this episode of 5 Minutes Fluentcast.
We hope this helped you understand what the carnivore diet really does to the body, beyond the hype.
Remember, your body doesn't need extremes, it needs understanding.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fluentcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new,
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
we post new episodes with real English and real ideas about life.
You can also download the PDF with the full transcript of this episode. The link is in the description below.
And here's an important tip. Try listening to this same episode every day for 1 week.
Repetition helps you understand more deeply, notice new expressions, and improve your listening skills.
This is how real learning happens, naturally and step by step.
See you next time.
Bye.